Maya stood by her window, her face tightening with quiet irritation as she looked outside at something she didn't like. Every single morning, without fail, she would look out and see her neighbor hanging laundry in the sunlight. And every morning, the same thought crossed her mind as she stared at those clothes with judgment. She leaned slightly and whispered to her husband, convinced she was right about what she was seeing. But her husband simply stood there, calm and silent, observing both her and the window. And day after day, nothing changed. The same view, the same reaction, the same judgment. Maya took pride in her own home, believing everything around her reflected perfection and control. Her living space was spotless, organized, and bright, exactly the way she liked it. But no matter how clean her home was, her attention always drifted back to the same window. And every time she looked outside, the clothes still appeared dull, faded, and unclean to her. She shook her head slightly, repeating the same quiet judgment she had formed long ago. Days slowly turned into weeks, but her perspective never changed. In fact, the more she looked, the more she focused on it, almost as if she couldn't ignore it anymore. And somewhere inside, it made her feel better, reminding herself that her own home was different. But her husband continued to watch silently, noticing something Maya wasn't seeing. Then one quiet morning, something felt different, the moment the sunlight entered the room. Maya looked outside again, and suddenly, everything seemed to have changed. The same clothes she had judged for weeks were now bright, clean, and glowing in the sunlight. Surprised and almost relieved, she turned quickly toward her husband with excitement. But her husband stood there calmly, holding something in his hands, already knowing the truth. He looked at her gently and spoke with a quiet clarity that stopped her completely. "I woke up early today and cleaned our window," he said as he wiped the glass. Maya stood still, her expression slowly changing as the realization began to settle in. The clothes outside had never been dirty. They had always been clean. It wasn't the world outside that was flawed. It was the way she had been looking at it. And in that quiet moment, everything inside her shifted without a single word. She looked outside again, but this time with a different perspective. The same scene now felt peaceful, simple, and completely free of judgment. And she finally understood something she hadn't seen all this time. What we see in others is often just a reflection of ourselves.